But you know the problem with Peter? He thinks that he has to project weakness all the time. Why would he?
But I've made up my mind that if this is the end, so be it.
I've come to realize that there are powers that you can describe as principalities that control Nigeria.
Sure.
Meaning, he sits on television and says, even if they put a gun on my head, what kind of nonsense is this? I wish I was Igbo. You guys would have loved it.
Because we can't allow the country. It is difficult to be in opposition in this country.
Yeah, we have insecurity issues. The data that Bola Tinubu was one that caused it.
You or nothing? That is an abomination in Igbo land.
Why is this diatribe against Peter Obi so strong in you? What did Peter Obi do? Is there a personal difference you have with him? Did he offend you?
Thank you for this question.
What is your problem with Obi? If Atiku has paid you and you are pushing him on Nigeria because of selfish interest, the suffering of the people will judge you, Okonko. You are not.
Hello guys, welcome back to Chaka Film. It is more than a month now since Peter Obi moved from ADC to NDC. Do you know what? Till this very moment, the opposition party are still criticizing him for that. They've left the Tinubu government, they left the incumbent government to continue destroying the country. But their focus is to criticize Peter Obi because he left ADC to NDC for the reason best known to everybody. If you are somebody who has sense, if you are in ADC at that moment, you will definitely leave. And that's brought us to this first video I want us to watch. And this is the video of Segun Showomi in this Security Zoom podcast with Nedu, where he talks some arrant nonsense that I want us to listen to. Then we'll come back and you will be the judge. So guys, before we watch that video, please, if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and also click on the bell icon so that when I drop any new updates, you will be notified. Thank you very much. So now let's watch the video.
Oh, listen, the president can lose. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he can't lose. There's a way to make him lose. Wallahi, I know that. But you know the problem with Peter? He thinks that he has to project weakness all the time. Why would Peter be on the inside of the country? Go and sit down with Seriaki, whose brother did the combination of Yaradua's time when he died. Sit in that kind of place and be telling sensible people that I would do one time. And then to make it even much more annoying, he didn't even leave it as, okay, maybe he didn't mean it. He sits on television and says, even if they put a gun on my head, what kind of nonsense is this? I wish I was Igbo. You guys would have loved it.
You see, people don't even really know what they do. You see, no, if you really get where did they go, doesn't mean now we're not stuck with APC. What they're touting now is a renewed hope. I be hope renewed. I don't even know which one it be. And sometimes some people call it renewed suffering.
Yeah, we have insecurity issues. The data that Bola Tinubu was one that caused it. There are institutional commanders who ensure that the country does not go into the hands of a rogue or an incompetent man just because he's speaking flary language.
Okay, give me 5 people that you think are better than Peter Obi.
Dave Umahi.
Okay.
Soludo.
Okay.
Mba.
Okay.
Ochi.
Okay.
And any other one you can find from your village. You insult Oleshenka, we let you be. You insult everybody, we let you be. And then you come and even have the freaking temerity to be calling our own ancestral land Lagos no man's land. Who dashed you that? And anybody who wants to be the champion of Nigeria, even if he's of Igbo extraction, he has a bigger than normal responsibility to make sure that his so-called obedience.
You say one thing that is so very surprising is that he's telling us that there are commanders who are gatekeeping the government, gatekeeping who should be the president because they don't want to give it to rogue who will mismanage the country. I will ask you this question, guys. Has there been any government, has there been any person that have mismanaged Nigeria as it is now? That have mismanaged Nigeria like our incumbent president, Tinubu. Nigeria has never got it worse as it is now. Tinubu produced, other countries are producing millionaires. Tinubu produced 160 million poverty. The poorest of the poorest in a country for just 3 years. Now, let's go further. And why it is so very painful is that when you listen to Okonkwo, you sometimes come to the conclusion maybe Peter Obi have done something to him. And that is the same question Shehu was also asking Okonkwo, what has Peter done to you? That is the reason I want us to watch that video. I know most of you might have watched it, but we are watching it from this perspective now, like, is this person talking from the place of grievance, or does it really make any sense at all? So now, let's watch the video, then we'll come back.
Be or nothing, that is an abomination in Igbo land.
Why is this diatribe against Peter Obi so strong in you? What did Peter Obi do? Is there a personal difference you have with him? Did he offend you?
Thank you for this question. I am telling you that anybody that wants to preside over me as president in Nigeria must be interrogated. I've not even said anything against Peter Obi compared to what I said against the other presidential candidate in 2023. Let me tell you, I have no personal grudges against anybody in my life. I am a man in search of the soul of Nigeria. I am going to get it in my lifetime. A good president will restore this country, will restore the Igbo people, the marginalization of Igbo people will go. And any human being from Igbo land that wants to destroy the destiny of Igbo because of your selfishness, I will come after you and make sure that you don't block Igbo from getting what they should get. Let me also take you to 1999. In 1999, the people of the Southwest, they said it is their turn because of what happened with MKO Abiola. And you know what? They gave it as a condition that all the political parties must present somebody from the Southwest. Let me ask, if there are no Southwest people in all the political parties, would they be able to achieve that? Olufalaye and Olusegun Obasanjo eventually emerged as the presidential candidate of all the parties that were available. Now, if you come to Igbo land and you're saying it's one person or nothing, so whatever happens to that one person, Igbo will be wiped out for that particular election cycle. In 1999, only Yoruba people contested for the presidency. I am looking forward to a time where only Igbo will contest for the presidency of Nigeria. It has happened before. We are the only people in the South that has not produced the president. They must allow us to produce the president. Let me challenge the APC. If the APC today zones this ticket to Southeast, because when they talk about zoning, it is a way to deny Igbo of what is their own turn. If APC zones this ticket to Southeast, just like Atiku Abubakar said in 2023, Atiku Abubakar said, if you zone this ticket to Southeast PDP, I will not contest. If APC zones it to Southeast, I will tell NDC to zone it immediately to Southeast. And if they don't, I'll campaign for APC. Take my word for it.
So you are basically an ethnic-oriented person.
Thank you for that question.
He just wanted your man from your clan, yes, an Igbo man to be president. That's your grouse.
Thank you very much for that question. Because if you vote for Tinubu again in 2023, the Southwest will have it for 16 years. And they've had vice president for 8 years. And Igbo has not had it at all. No vice president, no president. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has something to do with justice. And I am telling you that the only reason I'm saying there should be alignment is exactly what Tinubu did. Tinubu did not recognize that Jonathan has not done 8 years. He aligned with the North and defeated Jonathan so that he could create the avenue for him to come back and become president. That is what I am doing. I am going to make all the necessary alignment to make sure that somebody from the Southeast becomes president or vice in 2027 and become president thereafter. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. I fought for Yaradua. When Yaradua died, I wrote an article why Jonathan should not run in 2011 for the North to complete their 8 years. Nobody heard me. The article is there. It was published in Sun. It was published in Lawmaker.
That same Jonathan,
Jonathan should be allowed to finish his 8 years so that you don't correct a mistake with another mistake. They did not listen to me. They cut off Goodluck Jonathan's time. And now Tinubu is coming. And you're telling me 8-year arrangement is unacceptable to me.
There are some certain things Kwankwaso said. The first one is that what I take is telling us that he will be the stumbling block that will make anybody to spoil the chances that the Southeast will have to become a president. And that the only opportunity that the Southeast has now is to vote for Atiku. Just like the way in the 1999 when they vote in Obasanjo, that they said, okay, only the Southwest will be the president. They zone it to the Southwest. But if Kwankwaso is somebody who has brain, he's supposed to have noticed that before this very moment, the Southeast has never have such opportunity of to be president like Peter Obi. Peter Obi is no longer the project of Southeast. Peter Obi is a project of Nigerians. That is why it annoyed me so much when people are trying to play tribalistic with Peter Obi. Peter Obi not before Southeast. Peter Obi now for Nigeria. Being it Southwest, Southeast, North Central, Northeast, every part, Peter Obi is a Nigeria project as it is now. So that's why it annoys me when they are trying to limit Peter Obi to only Southeast. Peter Obi is not a Southeast. I'm saying it again. Peter Obi is not a Southeast project. Peter Obi is a Nigeria project. As we were talking of Peter Obi, there is this video I want us to watch of Peter Obi, where him himself came out to complain how it is so very difficult to be an opposition in Nigeria. How people who he used to talk to before, because of the Tinubu regime, they themselves are now afraid to talk to him.
But I've made up my mind that if this is the end, so be it. Because we can't allow the country. It is difficult to be in opposition in this country. Extremely difficult. Because everything is against you. People don't even want to see you. They don't even want to talk to you. I see colleagues that greet them at the airport, they don't even want to reply. Because they feel you're not, they don't want you. Tax is a function of productivity. The country is unproductive. So are you going to tax 100 million Nigerians that are living in extreme poverty? Are you going to tax those people I saw in IDP camps yesterday? Are you going to tax the factories that are shut down in Kanu? Go to Bompai, go to Shadan 1, Shadan 2. Where are you going to tax? Tax is a function of productivity. When the country is productive, people are gainfully employed, then you can tax them. And we can generate more tax. What we need now is to reflect the country, make it productive, and then we can talk about generating more revenue. Let me assure you, what is on the table now is that everybody who means well should come together to get the country to work. There's a lot of, call it, lies. There's a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of, trying to, bamboozle the people going on here and there, which has to stop. Let's build this country. Let me say it again. None of us is going to be here forever. Those who did it yesterday are no longer here. But if you look at the country, it's collapsing every day. I saw 1,500 kids yesterday, not in school. And I did ask 3 of them, do you want to go to school? They say yes. What are we doing? An indicative of high level of distress. Food insecurity has become a national norm, making Nigeria one of the hungriest countries of the world. Gainfully employed and middle income Nigerians now spend nearly their entire income on feeding, with some resorting to borrowing to eat, just to eat. For those living on margins, low-income earners and unemployed.
Just as I said before, he is reiterating it yet again. Tinubu is all he can is taxing Nigeria and politics. He has borrowed. That is even another topic of its own, which I will do next, or in few days from now. Is what he has done so far for the good 3 years that he has been in office, is to borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow. Tax. But there is no infrastructure, there is no security. Just as Chegun Showomi said, that insecurity not be Tinubu cause am. Since not be Tinubu cause that insecurity, there is no reason for him to face insecurity. If not be Tinubu cause say we not get light, there is no reason for Tinubu to make changes so that everybody will have light. It not being concerned, so it not need for him to repair it. So why do we have to vote such a person? And why do we have to vote somebody who has that such a mentality that if not being concerned, he not go repair it, but you are coming to represent the country, represent the people. Why are you even there? As we are still on the topic of criticizing Peter Obi because he decamped from ADC, or not even decamped, he moved from ADC to NDC, and you are expecting somebody to bring out a lot of money, 60 million naira, to go and buy a ticket when you know that you buying that ticket, it's not like you have a chances of, like, let me say 50-50. I might win, I might lose. You have the chances you have of winning is maybe 10% because of how the system has been corrupt. We see how the APC primary is going, and you want people like Peter Obi to contest with against Atiku, who spent a lot of money to buy or bribe, or as it is allegedly, even though we know the truth, but allegedly, to bribe people. And you say maybe Peter Obi contest with her. We know what happened in PDP primary. Even Wike, that has a lot of money, was still bought out of the primary. So let's not talk too much. Let's listen to Dele Momodu, who is a protege, or who is the mouthpiece of Atiku, who are those criticizing Peter Obi from moving from ADC to NDC. Make we listen to Dele Momodu, then we'll come back and continue with our story.
So,
would you consider running again?
No.
Why?
Experience is the best teacher. I've come to realize that there are powers that you can describe as principalities that control Nigeria.
Sure.
And unless a major political party decides to adopt me, where you have a consensus of people who say, hey, Dele Momodu is best suited to change and to lead Nigeria, then I can consider it. But if I would have to pick my money to go and buy a presidential nomination form of about 100 million sometimes. The last one, I spent about 50 million buying the form. Yeah, 50 million would have bought me a property, and it was a waste. Nobody vote, not even one vote, because everything was monetized. There was one of the candidates who paid as high as $30,000 per delegate, and we had 774 delegates. Yeah. So how do you want to compete with them? They've stolen the country blind, and they are doing all kinds of deals to make money, especially those in the oil-rich areas. It's not easy. You can't compete with them. That's why they insult Nigerians anyhow, because the amount of money available to them in raw cash. There is no country in the world where people control raw cash like Nigeria. The bulk of their money is not in any bank. So they are not traceable to any bank. And so they have the money. If today you say to some politicians that, look, you need $500 million to become a president, they will find it. So people like us, where will I start from? So I'm not bothered. I've almost given up. I'll be 65 my next birthday. I may look and feel young, but truth is I'm an old man. Chivemke Abiola, my father, died before he was 61. That scares me every day. That, look, we're all living on borrowed time. So why do we want to kill ourselves over politics? If the people of Nigeria need a good leader, they...
You see, you're wishing Peter Obi what you did not wish yourself. He is refraining from buying a ticket from any political party because of what he experienced. And that person that he said that paid $30,000 per delegate, the news has it that it was Atiku. How true that is, I'm not saying it is truth, but that is the rumor. Atiku bought you out, as it is alleged, bought you out of primary by paying delegate $30,000. Just when he bought a Wike out of a PDP election, allegedly. You want Peter Obi to face that same scenario. Thank God, I too love that Peter Obi. He too white. You know, if you spend the money for waste, when you say this process will never go through. If you say take it to court, the money will still spent for court. And we know how the Nigerian court system is, and how the government will determine to make sure that Peter Obi does not run for this forthcoming general election. So we've heard from Delin Momodu. And there is also someone, I would say, you see the pattern. These people are NDC. They are also opposition like Peter Obi. People who have it that they are opposition, their focus should be the incumbent government. But no, it is always Peter Obi in every discussion. Peter Obi. Listen to Lawan, or Mr. Lawan, and ADC shifting. Then we'll come back with our story.
Suspicious of the motives of the people in the ADC.
I don't think it is suspicion. I think it's fear. And a Democrat, a politician who fears election, I think has no business being one. He doesn't want to participate in primaries. He prefers to be consensus candidate, and that consensus must be him. Now, put yourself in the position of a party leadership. This is a political party of heavyweights, former this, everybody, some with ambition, some like us with no ambition. And the only way you can make progress is to create a level playing field for everybody.
Right. But you supported Peter Obi in 2023. You then both went into the ADC, but he has now moved on, and you say you will now fight him politically. I mean, what exactly changed overnight?
No, I don't want you to say we both went into the ADC.
Right, okay. You were there before.
We met in the ADC.
Right, okay.
Everybody had his own route to get in there. It's up to him. He has decided that ADC is not the vehicle that
Right,
he will
so
work.
because he's not in the ADC anymore, you will not support him.
Peter Obi didn't bring me into politics.
No, I understand that.
So,
But what I'm wondering is whether your support for him was driven by principle or whether it is about the platform he's on.
I was never a member of the Labour Party throughout the time I was supporting Peter Obi. It just so happened that at that particular time in that election cycle, our goals, merged, aligned, and we felt that we could support each other and pursue the same goal. Now, it's not as if Peter Obi is the best product that a political party can produce to be president. There are so many other people that can make good presidential material in this country. Now, Peter Obi entered Labour, as you recall, without primaries. And now he's facing primaries, and he doesn't think he's going to lend himself to the processes, and he goes, bye-bye for him. But you see, I didn't join politics because of him. And I had him, I think I probably would have been in politics longer than him because I'm older than him.
If we listen to him, just like Dele Momodu, he said that Peter Obi want that the ADC should zone the ticket to Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. And Peter Obi is afraid of conducting primary. He moved from Labour, that he came to Labour without a primary. Just as Dele Momodu said, why will I spend my money on primary when I know that somebody I want to go and meet is ready to spend $37,000 or $35,000 per delegate, and there are 700 and something delegates. If I'm in Peter Obi position, I will even do that. I will even do worse than that. It has to be in a written that the moment I move here, I will be given that ticket. If I were Peter Obi, it has to be signed. Not even with word promise. It has to be written. There has to be a written document that once I come, I move to your party, because we all know what Peter Obi is bringing. It's not coming alone. It's coming with entourage. It's coming. If your party is a party that does not have anything, if Peter Obi comes, we know how many positions your party will win, how many elections your party will win. We know how Labour won, but now today Labour, even with 50 million nomination form or the interest form, nobody from Labour have bought even presidential ticket or to contest for Labour. Nobody. You say make person bring his star power to your party, and without no written document, nobody telling him you have to sign in, you have to give me that ticket. So he will bring his star power. Forget, they'll say that democracy. If it was really democracy, somebody would not be paying 37,000 for a delegate. We are in Nigeria, we know how things run. So nobody should pretend that democracy, go and contest with against Atiku. You'll be shouting democracy inside courtroom. I pity Nigerians, I pity people who still claim to be so perfect in their thinking. This is Nigeria. Yeah, things will change, but things cannot change. Even if you read the amended Electoral Act of 2026, you know that things are getting worse by what they have written inside the law. And you want to go and spend your hard-earned money for something you know that it will be ringed against you. I like Peter Obi. He gets sense. He wise that you see that man. Enough is spending money for nonsense, for waste. And I like the way he's doing it. And that brought me to the Dr. Chris interview, and he also narrated how Peter Obi left Labour to ADC, from ADC to NDC. The inner workings, the behind the scene, is what Dr. Chris narrates in this video. So I want us to watch the video, then we'll come back to continue with our story.
Mr. Peter Obi is somebody that the government of the day does not want to be on the ballot. How do I mean? On April 4, 2025, the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, gave a landmark judgment which clearly stated that the tenure of Barrister Julius Abure as national chairman of the Labour Party was effectively over. I was among those, along with Mr. Peter Obi, Governor Alex Oti, senators, House members, and other stakeholders of the party, that took certified true copy of that judgment to INEC in case they had not seen it. And we were told that they would study it. They kept studying it from April until Mr. Peter Obi left the party. Of course, we are also around and we have our ears close to the ground, because the INEC people had stated that they were under instructions not to release the party for as long as Mr. Peter Obi remained there. So on December 31st, 2025, almost 8 months afterwards, Mr. Peter Obi, now frustrated with the shenanigans happening with the Labour Party, announced a move to the African Democratic Congress. Guess what? 4 days later, INEC, without any compulsion, issued a statement that the tenure of Julius Abure was effectively over. Why did it take 8 months to come to that conclusion? Then, fast forward to ADC. Remember, I said he made an indication in Enugu, I was there too, that we would be joining the African Democratic Congress. All of January, 30 or 31 days, nothing happened. All of February, nothing happened. Then on March 7th, Saturday, March 7th, we joined Mr. Peter Obi to his village in Agulu to get registered, because you only become a member of a political party upon registration. As soon as Mr. Peter Obi registered on the 7th, I registered in my village on the 8th. Less than 1 week from that date, the case filed by Nofiu Bala on September 12, 2025, was suddenly resurrected and given accelerated hearing. Now my question is, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president of our dear country, with all due respect, had registered in the ADC since last year. Why didn't the courts suddenly become, efficient and effective in disposing of the case? But as soon as Mr. Peter Obi registered, I'm speaking to facts. I want people to contradict me. I'd like to know what happened in January, what happened in February, until March 7. And before March 15, the case came up alive. And what we are now told was status quo ante bellum, which INEC interpreted to its whims, showing that they were still after one man. In such an environment, it is only a tree in the part of the country I come from that you will tell that you cut it down and it remains standing. Else, the next thing to do is to know how to, in this case, further your political career. And if the space is constricted, then you have to move. But that's not the only reason. You join a political party believing that there are certain irreducible minimums. We also say in our parts that you do not, in a bid to save your mother, push your father to the ground. That's sacrilegious. This is a country made up of diverse ethnic, religious divides. And so it's a give and take. The convention that every political player has come to agree with is the fact that power should rotate between the North and the South. And remember that just about 4 years earlier, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and his PDP insisted, after 8 years of former President Muhammadu Buhari, for power to still remain in the South, which was the whole essence of the quarrel between now Minister Nwike and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And we all saw the results. So now that power is in the South, brought about by even people like former Governor Nasiru El-Rufai, who are Northerners. He had to mobilize other Northern governors to insist that power should devolve to the South in keeping with that convention. So why would an Atiku Abubakar insist? It's his right, personal right. So for us in the ADC, we already had a David Mark as chairman of the party. And if Atiku Abubakar was going to run and probably emerge as presidential candidate, then we are doing the same thing a second time. And how do you expect a different result?
Yeah, we've heard from Dr. Chris. I have nothing to add to it anymore. We've heard from Dele Momodu, who is criticizing Peter Obi from moving from ADC to NDC. And the same person who criticizes somebody is telling you, I will not go to any party except they tell me that they will be giving me that ticket. And you want Peter Obi to spend his hard-earned money to contest against Atiku, who is ready to spend her, which Peter Obi will never do. So I leave you guys today, and thank you very much for staying to this very moment. And we'll see again. Also, before I go, guys, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon so that when I drop a new video, you will be the first to be notified. And also to encourage us. Thank you, guys. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.